Hello everyone, welcome back. Brainbot here. Today I have another cheap dollar store-ish quality knockoff of a Transformers toy. This time this is a knockoff of one of the Micromaster 6-bot combiners. This one specifically was Sixliner. So it had 6 teeny tiny Micromaster sized trains that formed together into one big bot. And this came out in 1991. I had Micromaster toys. I never had any of the combiners like this. So this figure will be new to me. I'd like to see if this is any good, if it's any higher quality than the last one of these I reviewed, which was called Big Engineer, which was a knockoff of the Ruination Baldigus recolor of the Bruticus toy. Let's take a look at this package here. So same style as the last figure. It's obvious that this is not trying to be a direct Hasbro or Takara knockoff. You can see right away that this is from a third party. So basically, stuff says, collect all 6, form one big robot. And various places on this, they call them a train EMPRISE. This is supposed to be a Sixliner. And most of the bots are all already formed up into the combiner. There's one here who is supposed to go on the backside. And for some reason, they put in a ship here. I'm not sure why, but we'll take a closer look when we open them up. On the back, come back here. Similar to the last one, we have red and yellow instructions. Basically just tells you what's in the box, how to transform the Micromasters and put them into combine mode. All that sort of nice stuff. Yeah, that's Train EMPRISE's box. Nothing crazy. Box is pretty yellowed / dirty, so I don't know if it's been sitting around for a while, if the warehouse was just not up to spec on housekeeping. But let's get all these guys out and take a closer look. So here's Sixliner out of the package. What I'll do real quick is I'm gonna do one size comparison here, since this guy is disconnected out of the package. I'm going to compare him to the closest thing I got to a Micromaster of this era, which is a modern Micromaster. You can see these are basically more or less the same size. Now, I didn't have any of these, but I did have Micromasters, and I do remember them being larger than the modern size, at least slightly larger. So I'd say that these are definitely still scaled down. But I'd say if you're had these in with some Micromasters from like Siege or Earthrise, that they would, scale-wise, it would fit in pretty well. Now, if you want to complete the combiner, what they want you to do here is just unfold the back section here, and there's a little port right there. So if you turn Sixliner around, there's this post right here. So you're just going to line up the hole to the post and push it in, and then just fold that up, and it just sits like that. That's actually surprisingly pretty stable. And the ship is not a Micromaster at all. It's just a model toy ship. It looks fairly nice for what it is. Fairly simplistic. It's got some nice molding on the top. We got some painted cannons on both sides of the ship. Other than that, it's just gray plastic with red on the bottom. There's a little bit of molding on the bottom there, as well as some kind of molded in wheels so it can sit up nice. As far as I can tell, it doesn't interact with Combiner anymore. I'm guessing they just maybe threw this in to meet a certain weight limit for their price point. But I mean, it kind of looks nice. You could use it for, you know, any sort of play. So not necessarily Transformers related, but it's there. We'll put him off to the side. Take a close look at Sixliner himself. So the colors here are somewhat close to the original. I mean, there's nothing too deviant. There's probably some shades that are a little bit different here. He's got some silver paint on the face, as well as a little piece on the head here. There's some, I believe these are stickers here that are, honestly, it looks like they paid me to put these stickers on there. They're not they're not aligned, but they're there. Some white here on the front, and these are also stickers, as well as up here on the chest plate here. These are applied stickers as well. The rest are paint applications from the individual figures. The back, like most combiners of this era, the feet and the hands are separate pieces. He comes with a blaster, as well as the chest piece, and the lower torso are separate pieces. We'll take everything apart as we look at the individual bots, and probably show them how to go together, since there's not a lot to them, so we can do it pretty quick. As far as movement on Sixliner, the head doesn't do anything. You can move the arms around. The chest plate gets in the way. These ones are just a peg hole connection. So this arm and this bot, which is Leaf, is actually pretty secure. So it's almost a shame that you can't turn it that way. I think you can fit it. Yeah, if you want it straight out, you can pull it off and plug it back in like that, and that's actually quite secure. The other arm, I believe this guy is called Alan. That's his orange piece here, at least. It's a little bit looser, at least on mine, and I think that's due to the fact that this piece isn't super tight. Like, it's not really loose, but if you can see it kind of like wiggling back and forth a bit, so it's not quite as snug. So it sits on there, but it can fall off quite easily. But if you have it, you can have it holding the gun up, which is okay. Put him down for now, since it's going to fall off anyway. Movement. So on the arms, extend him out. You've got some movement at the waist. It's a little hard to do this guy, but he's got he's got movement here at the elbow. The elbow and the wrist joint are so close together, they're kind of the same, but you got back and forth here. Yeah, some movement here and movement almost at the shoulder. The hands don't do anything. They just kind of like slide into a groove here, so they're locked in place. You can't do anything with the waist, and since the legs are all molded, you can't do anything there. They don't rotate or anything. And the way the feet work, they're pegged in, but not on posts. They have these two tabs that just line up to a hole in the bottom there. So once you push them into place, you won't get any movement. So overall, like, first impression with the combiner, actually not bad for what it is. They're Micromasters, so they inherently have even less articulation than the original G1 toys, since they're scaled down so small. So I didn't have kind of high hopes for this already, but aside from this loose joint up here, it's actually pretty good. I'm going to do one size comparison now with the last combiner I did. So this is Big Engineer, or Ruination / Baldigus. So you can see the size there. And again, this is much more scaled down. But without taking the bots apart from this, just comparing the combiners, I already like this one a lot better. There is some limited movement. The articulation in the arms is limited because of where the chest piece is here, but there's no ratcheting in here, so although you can get more free movement here, yeah, he falls apart too. He's kind of like a little bit loose, and there's a 50% chance that anytime I move this, he's gonna snap off, just like this guy's peg snapped off. He's just kind of sitting in the hole here. So far, right off the bat, I like Sixliner a little bit more. But we'll rip them apart and take a look at the individual bots. So we'll disassemble him first. So probably use this Surino, we'll take off the arms. Let's remove them from their pegs. For the legs, there's these little latches here. And you can just move off to the side, and then you can pull this off, and there's just these two little tabs that connect down in here, and then this will close up just to help hold that in. So you do that for both legs. Like so. On the back, so we'll just take this off. And if you want, you can leave these two pieces together. We'll take off this piece, so just pull straight out. You can set that off to the side. The feet, just pull straight off. Again, these two tabs will slide into this larger space right here, and just hold in via friction. Take both those off. For the hands, you're going to take one hand like this, and you're going to slide it down towards the open space, like so. I don't know if you can see that little T shape there. So when you're putting that back together, you'll just line that up into, there's this little notch right here. So that's where you want to line the groove up into and just push it in. And again, that's just friction, but on this arm, it's pretty tight. And not too bad on the other one as well. As for the weapon itself, it's just pegged into the hand, so you can switch it to whichever fist you want. And the only other piece that's left for the combiner is the head. Just pull that straight off. And it didn't even break his head off, which is already a good sign. Yeah, closer look at the head there. There's just an empty hole in there, so it'll slide straight over the headpiece like that. And it does hold in pretty securely. So I'll just turn the crew into their alt modes first, and then go from there. So we'll start off with this one first, Alan. So we're just gonna do all these Micromasters are simple even for G1 toys. I'll just fold the arms down, bring this back section up like so. And there we have Alan in alt mode. Now this has orange front and kind of like a browny gray rear section here. Some white, TGV, which is a callback to the type of train that this is modeled after. And a couple of faux wheels molded in plastic. A little bit of a sloppy paint job on the canopy. But that's that. Next, this black locomotive. Name is Digo. So this one was packaged in alt mode. We'll just put it back in, so just rotate this back section up like that. So he's cast in black plastic. Actually not too bad for the small size. You can see you've got details here on the operator's cab, as well as down where the wheels are. You see this is a model after steam locomotive. So we've got pieces up at the front, a little bit of brownish orange paint on the front. No other paint applications. There's some orange on the bottom for robot mode. Next up here, this is Joe. So all we have to do here to get him into robot mode is to fold that piece up. And here we have him in an alt mode, just white with some black paint for the windows. A little bit of molded detail here, otherwise pretty minimalistic. And again, some wheels just cast in plastic there. Next up is Leaf. So fold the front section down, rotate the back section up, and there's Leaf. It was a pretty nice color scheme. The green on white, with some black passenger windows. The paint application on the front windows is unfortunately misaligned, but it's done in kind of a metallic gray. It's kind of nice they did paint little lights on the front section there. I kind of like that. Yeah, there's the bottom. Let's choose robot mode. Next up is Night. So again, like Joe sees a leg butt, we'll just fold that front, the clip piece up. And yeah, paint is not great on this. It's black on blue, but the black is done really sloppily, so it's hard to tell when you're looking directly at it if there's actually even paint here or not. Especially on this one. This one actually is missing like half the paint on both sides. But kind of from a distance, it looks okay. And then last up, we have Spark. So, do here is we just put it together like so. Okay, yeah, I just double checked for Spark. The original is supposed to have a mechanism to flip this down. This doesn't, so this is what he looks like in alt mode, which isn't great, but you know, at least he's keeping an eye on who's coming up behind him. There is the whole Sixliner team in their alt modes. Now, one other thing that's supposed to happen is all of the combine mode bits are supposed to be able to attach to any of these, but these are missing components that will actually let you do that. But what's supposed to happen is you take, for example, one of the feet, and you take the chest piece and torso, lower torso, just slide them apart. And what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to take this peg and plug it into here. This hole is actually too tight, so you can't plug it into there, but what happened is you'd have kind of this sitting there and these like guns, and you attach it to the back of one of these, so kind of like towing a big gun. Another thing that's supposed to happen is you combine the gun, the fists, and the head into a weapon. Again, that would peg onto one of these. Hole on both feet is too small, so it can't fit the gun in either. You can kind of sort of put the fists in. One goes in pretty easily, one you have to play with a little bit. You get like a triple barrel blaster, which will look cool. Then you just store the headpiece on the back here, just to keep it kind of out of the way. But this is much too big for this hole, so this actually won't go in there. So you can't do anything really with the head. It would be nice if this could sit in here, even if it didn't attach to these guys, just to have like some kind of like a weapons encampment. But as it is, this is kind of as far as you can go. So the only thing you can do that does work still from the original is you can take the lower torso piece and use this peg here, and you can plug it in to one of these like so. So you can have, it's not super convincing, but you have like a quadruple barreled blaster there. And there's 4 of them that have this hole on it. I think you can fit them all in each one. Yeah. So you can do that if you want. Unfortunately, the rest of the stuff just ends up sitting in a pile. And real quick for robot mode, there's not too much to these guys. So for Alan, take the back piece and we'll rotate it around like that. And then you can take these arms, just move them out. And that's it. That's it for Alan. He's got one of the most bits of articulation for these guys. He has movable arms for one. You can see it's kind of cute. He's got this fist cast in there. If I can get to focus, there we go. He's got fists on both sides. His head. It's all in black. There were more paint applications on the original. I know that much. It's got a decent level of detail. Definitely, there's more detail in here than there was on the big engineer bots. But not a whole lot to see there. There's a semblance of feet down here. Digo, so same thing backside. Rotate it down, so we got feet there. I think the original is supposed to have arms come out. These are just molded in place, so he's just always kind of sitting at attention. And that's it for that. He will stand up on his own. Other than that, the only details he has is torso and head are cast in orange. And you can at least see, you know, he's got eyes, a mouth plate, and a little bit to his head. So he's unfortunately lacking on paint, but the head sculpt is not too bad for the size of the toy. Joe is up next. So we'll take this piece here, rotate it out, and we'll keep rotating it. And this one, I believe there's supposed to be a little bit of extension here. There isn't on this. So when you get to this part, it kind of like binds a little bit, but it will pop into place, and I've got to pop back out without too much problem. So despite the quality of this, which it does feel like dollar store quality plastic, but it feels, I don't know if this makes sense, it feels like high quality dollar store plastic, whereas the other big engineer set felt like the lowest bottom dollar quality. This one at least, like, it feels like a little bit more solid, and I think it's just because the plastic is overall a bit thicker than on the other set. And again, he's supposed to have arms that pop out, but this is all you get right there. And no paint in here whatsoever. Doesn't have a great head sculpt. You pick out some eyes. The helmet. There's a little nose in there. And he's got these headlights / blasters on the side of the head. Kind of reminds me of if you ever watched that show Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. He looks like Space Ghost a little bit. For Leaf, and all of these bots have pretty much the same transformation for the most part. Everything's kind of moving on him already, but when I get this to pop out like that, this comes up because of arm transformation. But put that down, you can bring, he does have his own arms. And there we go. Again, he stands. He looks a little bit ridiculous, but orange torso and head. He's got a visor in there and a nice little head crest. Don't know how well it's coming across here. He's not like completely like flat, but the definition isn't super deep, so it's hard to capture. He has those molded fists in again. Yeah, little toes down there. For Knight, take this section here, again, swing it down. And if we had separate arms, like in the toy, we would bring them up, but he has nothing else. So I got for him, and he's a little bit wobbly. All right, standing right there. He's got some gray to pick him out apart. The definition on his head isn't great, but he's got enough where you can kind of see where he's got a visor, a little chin sticking out, and his helmet. And lastly, we have Spark here. So just bring this down. It's going to hinge. We got kind of like a hinge here and then a hinge here. So we're basically just straightening him out. And his arms are completely missing from the sculpt. But there he is. And yeah, it'll be hard to see anything on him with the black plastic. An okay head sculpt. And all these guys have more definition than the big engineer set. I wish he at least had some like full arms in there, like some of the other ones. But what are you gonna do? So overall, I mean, very minimal articulation, if any, on these guys. But for Micromaster toys, actually not that bad. I wish there was some more paint on them to help them stand apart in their robot mode. But I'm more pleasantly surprised than I thought I'd be. I haven't moved anything on these guys that I thought was going to snap off, which is a big plus. So yeah, all around, not bad. So some final thoughts. Design-wise, I think it's pretty good. Representation of the original G1 Combiner. They obviously cut some corners as far as the transformation goes. There's a lot of engineering that was removed. Of course, a lot of paint applications were not put on. But that said, for the most part, everything for the combiner fits well together. Just have one loose problem up there. It would have been nice if some of the tolerances a little bit better, so everything could fit together in alt mode. But all in all, I don't really have too many complaints about that. I'm rather pleasantly surprised. The transformations are exceedingly simple. Playability, pretty minimal. I mean, he will actually hold poses for the arms. Other than that, there's no posability on him whatsoever. Durability wise, aside from maybe forcing some of those pegs into the two small holes, I'm actually not worried about breaking anything, except perhaps I'm taking the head off of this. The head is on fairly tight. I might snap the head off at some point, but other than that, this actually seems like a pretty good set for what it is. I thought for sure I'd get another dud, like with Big Engineer. Everything was either floppy or prone to breaking on it, on top of the corner cutting on the engineering. But yeah, I'm pleased to say I'm fairly happy with this. This is something that I would let my kids play with. The other one is probably, quite frankly, going to go into straight into the junk heap. But yeah, I don't have too much to say for that. This I got this off AliExpress. It was around like $28 with shipping and import fees. So again, that's in Canadian. So it's up to you if you think that's worth it. A few more dollars will get you a deluxe figure, which of course has a lot more posability. But maybe if you never had the opportunity to pick up the original Sixliner, I haven't seen any reissues of that. So it's either you're getting you're going to try to get the original in various stages of quality, or maybe you'll pick something up like this, just to have on your shelf somewhere. And if you do take it apart, it's not going to break on you instantaneously. So, pleasant surprise. Don't have too much more to say. Oh, thank you for watching. If you guys like this, they have lots more. The people that sell this, they have all sorts of different these like mini combiners. So I'm curious to see. There's one dud. This one fairly good. I am personally curious to see if how the other ones look. So if you guys want to see it, let me know in the comments. But I hope to see you next time.